One of the biggest misconceptions British retirees have is that moving to Spain is mostly about finding a nice property. It isn't. Buying or renting the home is often the easiest part. The real challenge begins afterwards. Over the years, we've seen wonderful people arrive in Spain, convinced they're ready, only to discover that every administrative procedure depends on another one that hasn't been completed yet. That's exactly what happened with one couple from Manchester. For privacy reasons, we'll call them John and Margaret. They had spent years dreaming about retiring in southern Spain. They had visited Malaga several times. They already knew the neighborhood they liked. They had enough saving. From the outside, everything looked simple. In reality, there were more than 20 different administrative and logistical steps that needed to happen in the right order. That is where we came in. Before booking a single appointment, the first thing we did was analyze their personal situation. Were they planning to become tax residents? Would they spend more than 183 days per year in Spain? Would they keep assets in the UK? Would they receive a UK pension? Did they intend to buy a property or rent one first? Those answers completely changed the administrative roadmap. Rather than letting them discover those differences after arriving, we created the entire relocation plan before they even packed their suitcases. One of the biggest mistakes people make is arriving in Spain without the documents they will eventually be asked for. So together with our immigration legal partners, we prepared everything beforehand. We checked passport validity, birth and marriage certificates where required, proof of income, healthcare documentation, private medical insurance requirements, certified translations whenever necessary, and we organized every document in the exact order in which the Spanish authorities would request them. That meant no wasted appointments, no missing paperwork, no last-minute panic. VIPPA-BCN coordinates, residency, NIE/TIE procedures, and visa-related documentation, together with specialist legal partners, adapting the level of involvement to each client's needs. Once they arrived in Malaga, we had already scheduled the necessary appointments. We accompanied them through the residency process. Depending on each client's circumstances, this may involve obtaining their NIE, registering as EU residents, or coordinating other residence procedures with our legal collaborators. We also coordinated the appointments required with the relevant public authorities, including the police station where residence documentation is issued when applicable. For many people, simply understanding which office they need to visit is already confusing. We removed that uncertainty completely. Many people don't realize how important the municipal registration known as the padrón actually is. Without it, many other procedures become significantly more difficult. So, once they had their address confirmed, we coordinated their registration with the local town hall. That single appointment unlocked several other administrative processes. Another topic that creates enormous anxiety is Spanish taxation. Many retirees ask us questions like, will I pay taxes twice? Do I have to declare my UK pension? What happens if I become a Spanish tax resident? We're not tax advisors, so rather than giving opinions, we introduced John and Margaret to one of our trusted bilingual tax specialists. The advisor reviewed their personal situation before any deadlines arrived. That meant they could make informed decisions from day one instead of trying to solve tax issues months later. Healthcare is usually one of the biggest concerns for retirees. They wanted to know, would they need private insurance? How would the Spanish healthcare system work? Instead of leaving them to navigate that alone, we coordinated meetings with trusted specialists. Where appropriate, we also helped coordinate the administrative registrations required to access healthcare services available to them in Spain. Knowing where to go before needing a doctor gives enormous peace of mind. Opening a Spanish bank account sounds simple, until you discover that every bank asks for different documents. We shortlisted the banks that best suited their situation, scheduled appointments, prepared the required paperwork, and made sure they could start paying bills, receiving pensions, and managing everyday expenses without unnecessary delays. After that, we coordinated utilities, internet, mobile phone, home insurance, trusted tradespeople, so when they opened the front door, their new home was already functioning. This is probably the most overlooked part of relocation. Paperwork finishes, but loneliness doesn't. John and Margaret didn't just need documents, they needed a community. So, we introduced them to several English speaking social groups and local expat communities in Malaga. They joined coffee mornings, walking groups, volunteer activities, and local events where they met other British retirees who had already gone through the same journey. Within a few weeks, they no longer felt like visitors, they felt at home. This reflects one of the pillars of our Golden Years program, helping retirees integrate socially through local activities and community connections, alongside ongoing support for daily life. Most relocation companies finish when the paperwork is complete. At VIPPA-BCN, that's only the beginning. 6 months later, John called us. Not because something had gone wrong, he wanted recommendations for a physiotherapist. A few weeks later, Margaret needed an electrician. Later, they wanted advice about hiring a gardener. One message, one phone call, one trusted contact. Because relocation isn't finished when the documents are approved, it's finished when Spain genuinely feels like home. And that's exactly why VIPPA-BCN created its always-on approach, ongoing support that continues beyond the initial relocation, with the same trusted point of contact for everything that comes afterwards. Most people only discover everything they need to organize after they've moved to Spain. By then, every delay becomes stressful. Every missing document means another appointment, and every unanswered question steals time from the retirement they've spent decades working towards. Our clients experience something very different. They arrive knowing that someone has already thought several steps ahead. If that sounds like the way you'd like to start your new life in Spain, have a look at the 3 Golden Years plans below. One of them was designed for people just like you.